Hello. I'm very leaned back today, huh? This is very far. Still going to be an awesome stream. Thanks, bro. Let me turn this down. Let me make sure. Can you all hear the music? Can you hear me okay? Is my voice high and squeaky like it was last week? Oop, look at that. So yeah, I accidentally am in 4K for this, so I can do things like this, but it's gonna kill my internet. It's because I use the same profile when I'm recording benchmarks and streaming, and I forgot to change it. Oops. So does this look okay? Is everything sound good, look good? No audio issues, it's all good. All right, awesome. Shout out to Nathan for being here first. What's up, bro? Nathan Tasker Force coming in from Australia. Sleepy Mushroom and Sam are two resident Jamaicans. Hazards Me, what's up, man? Good to see you as well. JT Bivens, what's up, man? Update, found out that guy sold his motorcycle for 13K and bought that PC for 7K. Wow. Okay, so if y'all weren't here a few weeks ago, JT Bivens showed a PC that his friend or coworker or something had built, and it was just totally overkill. I think it had two 5090s in it. It was just insane. And I think we all kind of guessed how much it cost. I guessed 6,000. JT Bivens has just confirmed it was actually 7,000. So that's sheesh. Go him, I suppose. But that's tough. But hey, if he's happy, let him be happy, right? Man, you ever seen yourself at a different angle? This is me leaning back, right? This is like leaned back, Jace. I got my feet up. It's weird to see people at different angles, huh? Tech Blacksmith, what's up, man? How's it going? My tablet is making noise when I type. Oh, crap. I am actually... we recently just ordered a new tablet. Kind of a downgrade, but I decided on the OnePlus Pad 2. Not the 3, the 2. It's kind of in that middle ground. I don't really... I mean, honestly, we could use a $100 tablet and be totally fine. But if you've actually ever used a very cheap tablet, they are slow and they are crappy. So I wanted something a little bit, at least a little bit better than that, that's going to last more than a year. And the OnePlus Pad 2 was a pretty good deal. If you do the trade-in, I think it's like, you do the trade-in and you get like a discount for like signing up. I think it's like $300 before tax. And for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, nice 11-inch or 12-inch screen, it's a pretty good deal. I mean, as long as OnePlus stays a company next year, you know. I guess that's the one thing you never know, but I'm tired of Samsung having a monopoly on Android tablets, so. But what is up? How's everyone doing? It's been a while, huh? Last time I streamed, I was still in the middle of not posting for like a month. But I posted a few times since then. And just so y'all know, I actually have 2 full videos already done, and they are like uploaded. And they're good to go. So that's fantastic on my end. It feels good to be so far ahead. It gives me more time to actually create and not have to worry about it. So that was nice. So look forward to that. One of them is a graphics card video, and then one of them is a PC build. So it should be pretty good. Where's my music? Man, I forget how to stream every week. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How's the family and pets? Thanks, man. Family's good. We are good. Pets are doing great. Yeah, the brownie's doing better these days. Yeah, everyone's all good. My wife and I are planning our yearly trip. Generally, we will take one big trip at the end of every year. As y'all saw last year, we went to Japan for 3 weeks. That was awesome. The year before that, we did China for nearly 3 weeks. And this year, we are doing a kind of a mix. We're doing 2 weeks in Taiwan and then 1 week in Japan again. But specifically in Japan, we're actually going to the north part of Japan, Hokkaido, which is where like Sapporo is and all the snow and beautifulness. So it's gonna be awesome. That's later in the year though. That's when it gets colder. So we really want to see the leaves changing and the snow and all that. So it's gonna be awesome. And I've been to Taiwan before, so it's really nice to go back. I have not been since 2017, I think. Was very great. Oh, nice. I get to have my grandson for a week at the end of the month, so I'm super stoked. Very cool. That is awesome. So you'll have him for Halloween then, huh? Very cool. Are you going to be streaming more regularly on Mondays now or nope? The answer is no. As much as I'd love to say that yes, streams will be more regular every Monday, the fact of the matter is that it eats up like 2 to 3 hours of my night that I could be spending with my family, and I don't make money from the stream, right? So I can't say, well, I'm working, right? Sometimes I'll make $1 or $2, but let's be honest, it's hard to justify that. And I frankly am not good at streaming. I'm not good without a teleprompter, and yeah, so I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to y'all and hanging out and stuff, but it's hard to justify it just because of all those negatives, you know what I mean? But I will say, if one of those was solved, I would probably do it more often. So like if I enjoyed it more, I would probably do it. Or if it was like any money came in, I could justify it, you know what I mean? So it's hard. I know I don't want to say weekly anymore because I definitely don't want to do weekly, but I do want to do like every 2 to 4 weeks, I'd say. I am okay with sticking to that schedule, but just saying like every week or God forbid twice a week would be difficult. Unless I started playing games, right? That's the thing. And I've said this before, nobody wants to watch me play games, so that's neither here nor there. Yes, Sam is right. Jason always starts as the clock strikes 7. That is true. I try to put up the stream like 10 minutes early just so people can gather in, and then I try my best to start at 7. Yeah. Didn't think bro started? No. Always, yes. Always on time. Bro is always on time. Except those times I'm not. It's going to be a chilled out stream, bro, just the way we like it. Hell yeah, Nathan. This is a chill stream. It's fixed, thank God for Google. Nice. Yeah, I don't have the energy to be one of those like high energy kind of streamers who are freaking out or whatever. I'm not a high energy person, to be honest. Like, yeah, just more literally laid back. I don't have that kind of energy, unfortunately. I understand your need to spend time with your family. We will always be here with you for the streams. Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that. That's why it's hard to justify, right? Like, I like doing this because I like talking to y'all, but I hate everything else about it. I mean the stream specifically. So it's like and it's hard, and it is technically work, right? Like this is my job, so but I don't get paid for it. So but I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a mixed bag, but I try not to talk about it too much because people don't want to talk about that. Yo, where's Hayden? I need to see what did Hayden build this week. I guarantee he bought some overpriced ASUS stuff and built a computer he didn't need. I gotta make sure there's not an address on this. I don't want to dox myself. But luckily there's not. Oh man, that looked very ugly on stream. Look at this. Look like a junkie. You'll see that? Look at that bruise. I had blood drawn today. That guy, oh my god. I'll never understand. I'll have some people who draw blood and it's like, oh, didn't feel a thing. Oh, it's over? Cool, thanks. And there's like no bruise whatsoever. And then sometimes you get this guy who is like digging into my arm and completely obliterating my veins, and it hurts so bad I can't even think. And then you get this giant bruise, and tomorrow this is gonna be like around here. Ugh. I don't know if it's a skill issue. I truly don't know anything about drawing blood, so I'm not gonna criticize the guy to his face, obviously, because I have no idea. I just know from my perspective, there's one guy at the blood drawing area that I hate. Every time I see him, I'm just like, this guy's gonna fuck me up. By the way, Jason, I might be getting a workstation from a friend, which will be a 6, 7, 8, or 9th gen CPU. When I get it, could you tell me the best GPU to get for it? For sure. That sounds pretty cool. That's fun. I will say the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th gen CPUs, they were all really similar, unfortunately. 6 and 7 specifically were basically the same, and 8 and 9 are basically the same, and there is kind of a jump between the two. For me now, I would say in 2025, for most people, I don't recommend them going below 8th gen. I mean, yours is free, so ignore what I'm saying. This is for people if they're buying it. I don't suggest they go beneath 8th gen if they have like a job and stuff. But for that, let me think. And it depends if it's an i5, an i7. But you also have to worry about if it's a workstation, does the power supply it comes with has the right cables? I'm going to guess it doesn't. Most workstations, well, let me take that back. Most office PCs don't. A lot of workstations do, if they have the right PCIe power cables for GPUs. So if it does, that's fantastic. Yeah, we can definitely help you out with that. But just know it's going to be something lower end, like an RX 580 or... Yeah, if it's a workstation, it's not going to be like an i7 9700K, you know what I mean? But who knows? That's pretty cool, though. Either way, it'll be a fun build for you. So, it's always fun to do stuff like that. Very cool, man. You might have gotten a burst blood vessel. God, I hope not. It just looks very ugly. This was today. Look at that. That's from today. It has not gotten worse. It looked like that pretty much like an hour afterwards. But I do know usually there'll be like bruising around it, and then it'll go away in a few days. Evening, folks. What's up, Reluctant Hero? Good to see you, man. Oh, speaking of a job, I'm actually getting an interview. It's been months. Congrats, Leaving Mushroom. That is very cool. Congrats. Hopefully you get it. What's the job? Did you see the news about Intel dropping support for their iGPUs? Maybe NVIDIA will have a GPU die on the Intel CPUs. It will be interesting. I did see that. There was a lot of big news when it comes to collaborations, especially today. Last week, I think we learned that NVIDIA bought a part of Intel, or they invested in them, which is buying a part of the company, which I'm just surprised they're allowing them to do that. And then Intel apparently is like, they saw how that helped their stock. So then they started saying, yeah, we're reaching out to everyone for help. We're telling AMD, help us, buy us. TSMC, buy us. And then TSMC is like, we didn't talk to them. So I think Intel is just trying to pump their stock a little. So that's cool that NVIDIA's kind of diving into it. And then today, OpenAI announced that they are going to buy some stuff from AMD. I think literally all they said is that they're going to buy some stuff from AMD, and that boosted AMD stock 25%. Literally, all it took is one AI company, the most dominant one, obviously, to say, hey, we're going to start buying stuff from them. 25% in a day. It's like, oh my gosh, what a bubble. But I mean, if it helps AMD, I'm in. And yeah, the Intel Nvidia situation, I don't know. Like, I've also seen rumors that news means that they're going to stop working on Arc entirely. So dedicated GPUs, iGPUs, all of that, they're just done, and that Nvidia is going to start doing it. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know the full story of it, to be honest, but a lot of it seems very far-fetched, and I don't think the worst is going to happen. But it does mean, unfortunately, I think ARM is taking a step back, which is a shame, because I think everyone should be digging into ARM. We've seen what ARM can do on Mac Silicon, and yeah, it's awesome. If we could all get off of x86 because it's old, it's desecrated, and we all move on to ARM, it would be revolutionary. It would transform the industry for gamers, for data centers, for workstations. It'd be great. It would be front desk work for a new hotel that opens up around a major town. Awesome. Now I just have to get a good result from the interview. Congrats, man. Hope it goes good. Congrats, bro. Tell you say a time, do it, my G. Just go shell it down and don't look back. Yeah, what Sam said. Do what Sam said. I think NVIDIA is using the investment to get access to their x86 license as they can't be sold anymore. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a play, but still, it's so strange to see such heavy cooperation from two of the three kind of big American chip makers. Like, I guess they are in different categories, but they're not really, right? Like that's when it gets confusing. Like, people always ask, why doesn't NVIDIA just buy AMD? It's like, why? First of all, why would they? They're not even competition. NVIDIA doesn't even care about AMD. They matter not. In the data center and gaming, they don't matter. But second, I don't think they would let them. Like, we have monopoly practices that just would not allow one dominating country to own both of the major GPU makers. It would be chaos, especially like around the world. Now, think about if NVIDIA ever bought AMD, let's say they bought them tonight, overnight, there's now only NVIDIA because no more AMD. That means the entire world has one company. Come on, it's Intel isn't there. NVIDIA has the whole entire world has one company to buy their GPUs from. And basically, it's already been that way for AI. They're all buying from NVIDIA. And AMD is such a small portion of data centers and like gaming when it comes to their GPUs that it's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, their CPUs are a little bit better, but still, it would just be war. We would have to go to war, right? Like, it would cause so much issues in the AI race that wars might be started over it. Because what if the US government said, okay, NVIDIA, you're not allowed to sell your GPUs literally anywhere else now? You know what I mean? We put sanctions on this country, you can't sell them anymore. And it's just gonna be like, whoa, like, okay, now we're gonna have to keep smuggling them like we already have been. It'll be interesting. I'm ready for Jamaica? Hell yeah. What's good, my kangaroo nightclub owner? How is everything going? Imagine the government response to the monopoly of NVIDIA, they'd lock down that company. That's what I'm saying. I don't think... NVIDIA is already the world's biggest company by such a huge margin. Their stock is so inflated, it's crazy. Just the fact that NVIDIA could buy the entirety of Intel and the entirety of AMD right now and form one company called into VidiMD, that, and if they allowed that to happen, they would control the world. Like literally, they, with those three companies alone, they would control the entire world. When you have that kind of power and you're providing those kind of chips to the entire world, like, you have a lot of power. And that's kind of why they don't allow that to happen, because it's one thing to control one sector or one product, right? Let's say DJI. Let's say DJI was the only company in the world that sold drones, and they bought up all the other drone companies. Okay, it kind of sucks, but they're still just drones, right? Not everybody wants a drone, but chips, like, dude, everything needs chips. Every company in the world needs chips. Every person in the world needs chips, multiple chips. So like, having that kind of power, they could create their own little government. It's just an insane amount of power that there would be a war over it if America allowed that kind of thing. Truly, if America said, hey, we're going to let NVIDIA, Intel, and AMD all merge into one company, I think every other country would put sanctions on us. Like, they would not allow it, because it's just such a crazy idea that to allow them to have that kind of power. Hey, Jason. What's up, Shane? How's it going? It's been crazy with protests and cellular service outages. It is nice here at the moment. Nice. That sucks, but I'm glad it's nice now. What games have y'all been playing recently? I'm trying to think. I have not been playing a lot of games. I am on the precipice of waiting for Battlefield 6, which comes out in a few days. So prepared for that. That's gonna be awesome. And then at the end of this month, Arc Raiders comes out, which is a extraction shooter from the creator of The Finals. And The Finals is like my all-time favorite shooter right now, or for a long time actually. So that Battlefield 6 and then Arc Raiders, we're gonna be good all winter. The Battlefield 6 beta was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to the main game. But other than that, what have I been playing? I think mostly just The Finals. Megabonk, I tried out for a few hours. It's pretty fun. If y'all have tried Megabonk. A surprising sleeper hit from an indie dev, which is always nice to see. I tried out Peak once. It's kind of fun. But I wasn't like obsessed with it. I think I know some people play it literally every day. They're like, yeah, I play Peak every single day, and I climb a mountain every day. I'm like, that's amazing. But mostly just waiting for Battlefield 6, yeah. Speaking of internet, Jason, what is your take on that? Internet ID, Jason, what is your take on that? And also the fall of Xbox with the Game Pass issue that may also stop making consoles. It's really popping off in the gaming space. Yeah. So for those not in the know, Game Pass, which is Microsoft's cloud subscription game service that not only lets you play in the cloud, it lets you get free access to any of the games in their library, which a lot of them are like Bethesda, Microsoft, Activision day one stuff, Blizzard. Microsoft's such a huge company. They merged with Activision recently, a year or two ago, and they said in that there was like a big deal around it saying, you would control too much of gaming, and this is like what we were talking about, the monopoly situation. And they literally said, no, we won't, and also we're not going to use it to increase the price of anything. That was a lie. A few days ago, they announced that they are increasing the price for their main subscription, which they have a few different ones, but the main one, which is the most important one because it gives you access to those brand new games on day one. So like, let's say people bought Game Pass because it was a good deal to play a backlog of games, but also have access to brand new things. So like when the new like Oblivion Remastered, when that Oblivion Remastered came out, Microsoft said, hey, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you can play this day one. And I think back then it was only like $20 for the Ultimate Edition, $20 a month. So like, let's say you only you bought the 1 month, right? You bought 1 month and you played Oblivion Remastered, and then you stopped subscribing. Hey, you paid $20 to play a $70 game, and you might not own the game, but hey, you played it and you're never going to go back to it, and it was a good deal. And then hey, you're like, hey, $20 a month isn't too bad. Maybe I'll stay subscribed because I can play all these other games. I get access to cloud on my phone. I can play PC games. This is great. They increased that to $30 a month, which is pretty significant. $10 more. That is like a huge increase. And people are pretty pissed because it's like, okay, now that is like almost 2 months of that is almost just buying the game outright. And so I think people are just mad that $30 a month, and they don't have an annual pass. You have to pay monthly. So that's $360 a year to pay to just rent games from them, essentially, because you don't get to own anything. So $360 a year. That's like more than the Xbox Series S when it came out. Almost as much as the Xbox Series X. And it's just like such a huge price increase that I think people are finally like, $30 a month is my stopping point. Like, I'm not paying any more for this kind of stuff. I'll just buy the games when I want them. So a lot of people unsubscribed. They did, quite a bit. And it drove up a lot of controversy. Mostly because Microsoft fought for so long saying, we're not a monopoly. And then they bought all these game studios and they have full control of them. And then now they can just pretty much name their price on whatever they want because they're the only ones with the big enough library. You know, Ubisoft does their thing. EA has their version of it. But not really, right? Like, they don't have the library that Microsoft now has. I don't know. I think the $30 could be a good deal for a lot of people. I think if you literally are playing all of the games on there, and like that is your life, and you play it and you utilize everything. You use cloud, you use the Game Pass stuff, you use the Fortnite stuff they give you now. If you use all of it, it's a great deal. But it's like one of those things that if you're only using one of them and you're sparingly using it, it's not worth it at that point. So obviously, I wish things were cheaper, but what are you gonna do? And I know they said Xbox has been kind of hinting that they are leaving the console game for a long time. They've been kind of talking about it, saying like, you know, we have one more console coming up, but that might be it. And that does kind of suck, mostly because PlayStation needs a competitor, right? So if the only console is the Switch 2 and PlayStation 6, that's going to be tough. There really does need to be two mainline competing consoles for each other, because we know the Switch and the PlayStation aren't in the same category. So I'm just wondering, like, who's going to step up to fill that gap? Because if Xbox doesn't want to make a console, that doesn't mean we're just not going to have a console, right? We live in a world of huge corporations. They have a pass subscription that runs ads in the games, like in shows and movies, and it is, quote, a testing subscription. I think Xbox is going to get bought next after EA, which was shocking. You think Xbox, the spin-off of Microsoft, is going to get purchased by a private company like EA was? I don't think so. I think Microsoft is too big. I don't think they'd get rid of the Xbox brand. Because at the end of the day, the Xbox is their gaming brand. Whether it's an actual console or not, it is still, Xbox is Microsoft gaming. That's what they like. That's what they're going with, even if it's not a physical console anymore. So they might not just not have another console. But there won't be a hole. If Xbox does not make a console, I think there's going to be a Chinese company to try to fill that hole, because who else can afford it, right? I think Tencent is going to come in and build a console. So here, I'm calling it here first. Come back to this video in 2 years whenever Tencent has released their game box. And yeah, so the Tencent game box coming to a home near you, and it's going to have better stats than the PlayStation 6, but it has a worse warranty and it spies on you in your home. So I'm calling it here now. Just check it. I'm telling you, a major Chinese, if Xbox stops making their console, a major Chinese company is going to come in and fill that hole, and I think it's going to be backed by Tencent. But I think it's going to be a collaboration. I don't think it'll just be Tencent. I think it'll be ran with a manufacturing company, so like an Asus, an MSI, something like that. Probably a Taiwanese company. And I think they're going to come in and they're going to make sure that their product is marked a little bit cheaper than the PlayStation. But this is only when Xbox has 100% confirmed they are out of the game, because we need shelf space for those games. Or it might just be digital only. Who knows? Knowing them, maybe they don't want the shelf space. Maybe we're at that point where digital only is the way to go. Who knows? I think the Xbox issue will be a major plus for Steam and other game storefronts if they keep their prices reasonable. Yeah, of course, for sure. If people aren't using the Game Pass, that money just goes into other people's pockets. Ubisoft had to come crawling back to Steam. Exactly. Everyone thought they were the Netflix of gaming. So Ubisoft, EA, Blizzard, they all are like, no, we don't want Steam. We're going to make our own. All of them came crawling back. They're just like, we can't win this war. We've tried so hard. The only ones who have stuck it out still is Epic Game Store. But that's because they have money from Fortnite and the Unreal Engine. But outside of that, yeah, I think a lot of their games are still on Steam. Except for Fortnite. But yeah, I don't know. If Intel and Nvidia can find a deal, anything is possible, bro. That's true. Maybe Nvidia pumps money into Xbox and they say, this is the Nvidia Xbox, right? And it's powered by an Nvidia GPU. Or previously it was AMD. It would be very interesting because PlayStation is probably going to go AMD again. And imagine if Xbox powers with them. They call it the AI box, of course. And they put an NVIDIA GPU in it. And you can access your Steam library on it. Whoa. So it's basically a console that runs PC games. What? We call that a PC, but that's what they would call it. You can access all of your PC games on this console. Oh. Look, I'm just spitballing, man. Should I go work for Microsoft? I feel like no one's had this idea. I don't know. Xbox is Xbox OS. Why build a console when you can just let others turn their own devices into your console? Yeah, they are quickly becoming a software as a service company. They're kind of tired of making hardware, to be honest. They've kind of slowed down their laptops, their tablets. They had a phone for a while. They've tried every hardware out there, and they just can't get it done. Even the Xbox, which has been probably the most famous hardware they've ever created, has always been not great. It's always been like a loss, as far as I remember. They just keep trying. Zune, what other Microsoft hardware they created? It's all been crap. Even though some of it has been cool. Like the Microsoft phone was interesting. It was before its time. The tablets were interesting before their time. Zune was cool before its time. Like all this stuff, it's not bad. It's just like they just couldn't figure it out. And so now they're trying software as a service where they're like trying to charge for Windows per month. They've got their Microsoft Office 365 subscription fee, Game Pass. They just want like everything to be a subscription fee, a service. Let me sell you this cloud service, this AI. Like, why are we even doing hardware? Like, let ASUS make the hardware and we'll put our software on it. think they're trying to get out of the hardware game because it just hasn't been working. They're like, why don't we just double down on what we've always done good, which is software? Like, we own Windows. Nothing's ever going to come close to it. What are we doing? It'll be interesting. I think it could be... It's going to be an interesting few years in the console game. Microsoft Surface poop. Yeah. But I think they had a good chance. I think Microsoft has some good ideas. They're just either too late or too early to stuff. And whenever they're too early, it's not implemented well. Like, if y'all remember, Microsoft put out a phone, and it was basically like that Windows 8 panel thing. I knew someone who had it, and I was very intrigued by it at the time. I was like, this is pretty cool. I like the idea of it. I like where they're going with it, but it just kind of didn't get there. And Microsoft's always like that, which is a shame. I actually really liked the Xbox 360. I liked it a lot. I liked it way better than the PlayStation. And then Xbox One came out, and it was okay, I guess. Like, it never kind of caught on, and Xbox Series X was a naming nightmare, and again, just a little underpowered and stupid, and like, I don't know. When I think of a console now, nobody thinks of Xbox Series X. They think of PlayStation. Isn't that sad? That in 5 years, we've gone from, hey, do you have an Xbox or a PlayStation, to people just assuming you have a PlayStation. Very interesting. In 5 years, we've gone like 5 or 6 years. Like, it's just, no one ever assumes you have an Xbox anymore. That's like not even on the table. And then I saw that Sam's Clubs and Costco were burning off their leftover consoles from Xbox, which was shocking because we're about to have a holiday season. You'd think they'd want to stock up to sell those consoles. But no, they were dropping the price at an alarming rate. That's pretty scary. You gonna get one of the Asus ROG Xbox handhelds? I would like to try it. It's just very expensive, man. And to be honest, it is, the way they do the handles on it, it is probably going to be the most comfortable handheld I've ever held, because that's my main complaint when it comes to handhelds, is that the controllers don't feel like controllers. They feel like nubbins. And I mean, if you've ever watched any of my handheld videos, I complain about it a lot, that my hands are weird and that there's like a really big pain right here whenever I do any handheld gaming. And I don't get that when I hold an actual controller. And if you've seen the ROG Xbox handheld, it is like an actual Xbox controller, kind of like the PS Portal. And I'm like, yes, this is what people want. Give us an actual controller. I don't care how big it is. I don't care. Like, just, if it is the most comfortable handheld, I'll take it. So I might grab one just to review it, but I probably wouldn't hold on to it because it's just quite expensive. There's that, and the new Legion Go 2, and there's like a bunch of handhelds coming out soon, and they're just so expensive. Like, all of them are expensive, and it's kind of a shame. But here's the thing, they're not getting any more powerful. That's the annoying part. Like, you go from the Z1 Extreme to the Z2. That's the best we can do. I think GPD made one that actually is the most powerful by far, and so they're actually doing some innovation, but everyone else is just doing the same chip that is already 6 years old, and I think it's like Zen 2 at this point, and just making everything else a little bit better. Oh, we'll make the screen a little bit better, and we'll make the handles better, but the performance is always the same. Whether you have a Steam Deck or like the highest pumped ROG Ally X, your only difference is like 5 FPS, maybe 10. Like, it's really like so close. And when you're working on a tiny screen, it really doesn't matter whether your Elden Ring runs at 60 FPS or if it runs at 55 FPS. Like, does it really matter, right? And so since the Steam Deck every single one is like the same performance. It's just little bit differences here and there, and battery life and screen, and it's like, man, I think you're filling holes that don't need to get filled, man. Like, come back when you get something that's better. But the problem is that the CPU technology doesn't move that fast. You can't. You need to cool it. It's gonna get hot. You can't put a stronger chip in there, and so like they're right now in the middle of that, trying to figure out. And so until the next generation of chips actually become available in a handheld that's not made by a shady third-party company, I just don't think I care anymore. Like, there's just so many. We can't keep doing this. Ugh. It's a shame. Because they're all so cool. I love all of them. They're all so cool. Honestly, I think AMD and Steam may make the next console. Yeah, I know Steam is working on some Steam consoles, like the Steam boxes that they had. But now that they have SteamOS, I think it might actually work. Truly, I think if they say, hey, do you want to be a PC gamer, but you don't want a PC, because all you have is a living room, buy this box, it'll run like a console, and you're off to the races. I think Steam now is the time. I think we can actually do it. If they do it properly, and they get a good controller, I think we can do it. It'd be really cool. You know me for ROG products, but it's just out of my price range. Yeah, it is cool. Like, I'll admit, it is a very, very cool product. It's probably the one I would say it looks the most comfortable. I would love to get a decent handheld console, but they are ridiculously expensive here in Australia. Yeah, that too. I've heard a lot of that from Australia specifically. I don't think, are Steam Decks available there yet? I think they weren't at first, but then they were. But yeah, it's pretty pricey. But it would be cool. Like, I think they have a lot to offer. But this idea of like, okay, I got a Steam Deck. Okay, then I got the Steam Deck OLED. Oh, I got the ROG Ally X. I got this. This is all in 2 years. People don't need to replace their handheld every 6 months because they're only slightly better. Like, whenever I come out and I say, yes, the ROG Ally X is the best handheld so far, it's only like 10% better than the last one. Like, it's gotten to the point where you're like running out of nice things to say because they're all nice. I don't know, like, that's why I don't review them as much anymore, because there's just not as much to say. There hasn't been any major innovation. Who's this? Hey, buddy. Why are you looking the wrong way? You should be looking at the camera. Yeah, look that way. Nope. Sorry, guys, she's shy. I think we can get the Steam Deck here, but the price is a little higher than elsewhere. Yeah, for sure. I'll just sell Rosie some of my old tech to put towards a handheld. Hayden, please. Stop selling things to your girlfriend. You should be giving her all that stuff, man. She told me you installed something for her and then you left a bomb in her toilet. That is not how the installer should be doing things. Let me see. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. every time I stream is when my computer's like, hey, you want to update everything? As soon as I hit go live, all my apps are like, time to update in the middle of the night for no reason. And they start popping up. Guys, I had a really fancy sushi experience last week. It was really nice. We had a basically say a gift card to a very fancy sushi restaurant in our city, and we were pretty excited to try it out because generally we're like more affordable people. Like we don't really like spending too much money on food, but we wanted to give it a shot because we had the gift card, and yeah, it is like so much better. Like, and I'm sad to say that, but I've had really good sushi in Japan, but even like the cheap sushi in Japan is better than the expensive sushi here. So I'm judging it based on the American standard, and yeah, it's fantastic. Having a fancy sushi experience where it's actually made by someone who knows what they're doing and not just some dude they hired. Yeah, it's a significant experience. If you're into sushi, I would say take the misses out and enjoy it. PC Bros made a video about the Steam Deck. Do you think it's the best PC starter? Yeah, especially now. It is actually on sale right now. You can get the 256 gig version for like $320. It is insane. Imagine like a computer with a screen and a controller for $320. It's insane. I was actually considering making a video on it too because it was just such a good deal. Did PC Bros do it or did Toasty Bros? They're always stealing my ideas from my head. Yeah, it was Toasty Bros. Oh, damn it, dude. They even named it what I was going to name it. They named their video, the $320 Steam Deck is the best deal in PC gaming. I was going to name mine still the best value in PC gaming or something. Damn it, dude. They have a whole crew working for them. I cannot compete with them, dude. But yeah, I totally agree. It's $320. It's crazy. And it's not, you can't justify it by saying it doesn't have an SSD anymore because the old cheapest one was $400 and that came with a 64 gig internal storage, which is nothing, let's be honest. And it wasn't even an SSD, but a quarter of a terabyte is a good starting point. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. Damn it. They took the literal title I was going to pick too. They worked. I don't have people working for me. And I'm going to guess the video is just them playing Fortnite, right? Oh wow, a lot of it's just them playing on it. 24 minutes? 20 minutes is them just playing on it. Okay. Yeah, it's the best. It ended 7 hours ago? Oh, that's funny. Oh, people were complaining in the comments about it. It went live after the sale ended. Okay. I think they'll bring the sale back for the holidays, and I'll make a video then. And I'll wait till people get over it. And I'll notice it the day they announce the sale, and I'll make the video the next day. Last week was tough for me. It was the 10th anniversary of the shooting I was involved in while I was still working. They did a lovely memorial service for the victim, though. Sorry to hear that, Nathan. I'm glad they had a nice memorial service, though. Yeah, that sucks. Everything I know about sushi is from that American Dad episode. That's not good, Hayden. I would say after eating really fancy sushi, I have now become a sushi snob, but not in a way that is like I'll never eat cheap sushi. I think there's two different kinds. Like, cheap sushi is cheap and it's gonna taste worse, right? But as long as it like has a good mouthfeel and it falls apart and it's like, you know, why not? It's cheap. What I hate, what I snob about, is mid-range or expensive sushi that is not that good, and the rice is not seasoned, or it's like not put together well, and it's like too tightly packed, and like that pisses me off. Because if you're gonna pay more for sushi that you think looks better but tastes worse, that pisses me off. I'm not above getting sushi from the grocery store. I don't mind it at all, but it's because it's cheap. Now imagine you paid, it's $5 sushi, right? Now imagine you paid $20 for that. Yeah, you'd be pretty upset, right? And I think that's what I'm a snob about now. I'm a snob about sushi restaurants that think that they can charge more, but then offer quality that is just garbage. And that's like, I would say 90% of sushi restaurants in America, because they feel like they can charge more for some reason because they think sushi's fancy. And you get there and you can't trust reviews because people who leave Google reviews are like the most simpletons of simpletons. I don't understand. I saw someone say, I've been to 400 sushi restaurants around America and Europe, and this is by far the best one. I was like, wow, that's a lot. 400 sushi restaurants. And I've been to that restaurant they're mentioning, saying it's the best one. It is mid. I don't know what he's talking about. And so that's why you can't trust people. Or people saying, this is the best Chinese food I've ever had. And then you realize they've only had that and Panda Express. You know what I mean? So you can't trust Google reviews because people don't know what they're talking about. That's what I've learned. And that's a shame. Because, yeah. Maybe I'm just spoiled. I've definitely been spoiled by Japanese ramen. Here, it's different in every country. But in America, in my town, an average bowl of like real ramen costs about $16. And that's before tax, before you have to tip the little dude who brings it to your table and expects 20% of your bill because he walked from point A to point B holding a bowl of soup. Okay? So, yeah, let's just say $20 after all is said and done. For the most mid noodles that they bought and just dehydrated, soup that is mostly bouillon, right? And the eggs are okay. They're fine, but it's not the same. And so $20 after all that for like the most mid ramen you'll ever have. And then you go to Japan and you will have the best ramen of your life for $6 all in. And you're just like, how? It just makes me so frustrated. Like, how they can upcharge things here and like not understand the basic concepts of what makes it good in the country in which it's from. You just copy it. How hard is that? Like, you know what I mean? It just frustrates me. That's why I never eat ramen here anymore. I love an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. Oh, Hayden, I've seen British Chinese food. You got the prawn chips, the curry sauce. You get the chips and you dip it in the curry sauce. And you got this big brown plate. Everything is brown. You get the curry sauce and you dip it on there. It's horrific, brother. Horrific. One color. A brown mushy plate. I don't mind a Chinese buffet either. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. You go to a Chinese buffet understanding the quality's not going to be as good. It's a buffet, right? No one's going into a buffet expecting top-notch stuff. But it's like more It's just making me hungry now as I mock the food he's saying he loves. You go to a buffet, understanding is not going to be as good, but the value is there, right? You get as much as you want. You get a huge range of food, different types of things. I understand that. You know, there's an appeal to it for sure. I'm not totally against buffets. Now, again, what if you paid triple the price for the buffet and you got the same quality food? Wouldn't you be pretty upset? I would. And that's what I'm saying. That's what annoys me. The value just isn't there anymore. It just seems like, or what makes me mad is when there is a fake value that they say we run out of food at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., right? I don't know if this happens in your countries, but here, especially with like Texas barbecue, you have to kind of make everything the night before, right? So because barbecue takes all night to cook, it's a slow cook method by smoke. So you kind of make everything the night before. And I understand when you first make a restaurant, you might run out of things quickly because you don't know the demand. So you cook as much food as you can, as much food as you think is going to be necessary, but not so much that you're throwing it out at the end of the day, right? Because no one's going to eat it the next day. So you want to draw that fine line. And I understand that. So during the first few months of a restaurant opening, you don't really know demand. It takes time. But there are restaurants here that have been open for 20 years that still run out of food at 2 p.m. And it's not because they're so bad at like guessing how much food they need. They're doing it on purpose. They are creating scarcity of their product to force people to like line up early so that it feels like it's more of a commodity. So people feel like you have to get there early or it's going to run out. People love it that much. It's like, well, I'm sure people love it, but if you've been doing this for years and you know that many people are going to come, why don't you just make more of it? You're going to make more money, right? But create a scarcity, do all this bull crap, charge way more money for the food than it's actually worth just because you can. I hate that. I just pisses me off, to be honest. I hate that they do that. I hate companies that treat its customers like children, or thinks they are so stupid that they don't see through their thinly veiled facade. Like, bro, we understand your sushi restaurant is mid. Why are you trying to do that? What's up, Brian? Is the Texas State Fair really that bad expensive this year, or is there one hell of a propaganda campaign against this year? That's a good question, Brian. I actually heard about that as well. I did not go because I think it's always bad and expensive. Have you ever actually been? I think it's both. I actually have heard that less people went this year, but I don't think it's just because it's bad/expensive. It's always been bad and expensive, hasn't it? Like, that's what state fairs are. You pay way too much money for mid-greasy food, and that's the fun of it, right? Like, isn't that kind of the whole point? But yeah, I think maybe unless they are paying tariffs on some of the stuff they're buying and they had to raise the prices, who knows? I have not looked too much into it. I've just heard a few different people saying it wasn't. I didn't hear it was bad. I heard it was expensive. And I heard there were less people. That's what I've heard. So, but I'm not a fair guy. I don't really like those types of events. Because I've been to many different types of those where it's like, oh, we're having our Korea Day at the park. You know, we have a bunch of vendors. Come enjoy Korean culture, right? And you get there and it's like 90% Chinese food, right? And it's like, what is this? And you're gonna charge. You have to wait in a line in the beating sun to overpay for mid food, and you get to stand while you eat it in the hot sun and walk around that's in a place that's way too crowded, and the culture is maybe a dance performance that someone does that's going to be entirely white people. Don't know why they couldn't get any Koreans to do it, and it's just very strange, right? Like, it's the whole thing from top to bottom feels like they had good intentions, but it's just not there. So I just don't like those types of like outdoor events because it's always the same story, no matter if it's a state fair or if it's like an event or culture event or anything like that. Like, it's just always bad, unfortunately. What's up, gamers? What's up, Tech Grant? I have never been to any close to that fair, but I would like to go to one. I think they're an interesting cultural event, for sure, especially if you're not from the country in which you're going to. So if you're not from America and someone from like the UK came to America, I would encourage them to go to a fair, for sure. But it's just, every single one I've been to has just been awful, right? Like, and you have to pay for parking for some reason. Like, I don't know. It's just there's no elevated part of it. The food is not good because, first of all, it's all weird food, and there are restaurants nearby that are like better for cheaper, and you get to sit down and enjoy the food authentically made. So I just don't get it. I think the allure of the Texas State Fair is interesting because they sell things that are not available at restaurants, like deep fried Snickers bar or something, right? It's like all of your fat people delicacies all in one place. Makes it very exciting. So I will say at least they have that. At least the Texas State Fair has things that you cannot buy at a restaurant, and I think that alone is an allure, I suppose. But what else is there to do there? I think they have some shoddy rides, I suppose, if you like a Ferris wheel. But I thought, wasn't it primarily to like walk around and like listen to loud country music and eat weird food? Wasn't that kind of the point? I think I've only been once, but that was people apparently love it. Like they go every year, so I don't want to yuck their yum, but it does seem to be not my style. And you know what's funny is that I say all of this, and yet when I'm in Japan, China, Taiwan, whatever, I love going to night markets. But there's the difference. Night markets, you don't have to pay to park because there's, cheap public transit to get there. Okay, you show up, and the food is actually good and cheap, and it is crowded, so that sucks. But they're primarily held at night, so it's not hot. Here we don't do stuff at night. It's always just daytime because night is scary. And it's cheap enough that you can walk around and get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, have a good time, maybe play a little game. I think it's all about value. I think it's just like people just charge too much for mid experiences in America, and I'm just like over it. I think that's it. Battered deep fried anything is the national dish of Scotland. Well, then they would fit in perfectly at a Texas State Fair. Because that is what it's become. It's like a meme at this point. I think the Texas State Fair has gotten a reputation. If y'all are familiar with corn dogs, which are corn batter dipped, or a hot dog or a sausage dipped in corn batter and then deep fried, we call it a corn dog here, that was actually created at the Texas State Fair. So, and that tradition has gone on to just basically do that with anything. So they're dunking Twinkies, they're dunking donuts, they're dunking Snickers bars, full turkey legs. Like, they will deep fry anything. So it's become very famous at the Texas State Fair to just have a ton of weird fried food. And so at the very least, if you're into that kind of stuff, you can get it there, and it'll have something that's at least interesting that you can't get at a restaurant. But it's very expensive. Like, literally, imagine like $15 for a hot dog, $12 for a funnel cake, right? Like, it's just so absurdly expensive. But I've not looked into it too much, so I'm not gonna poo-poo on this year's experience because I haven't looked into it. But yeah, corn dog, big fan. Yeah, you would, because you're a corn and a dog. I think deep fried jerk chicken would be too much. That'd be interesting. Yeah, usually the stuff that they're deep frying is not that seasoned. It's not like jerk chicken has a bunch of stuff on it. Generally, they're frying things that are like lightly seasoned. So I think it'd be interesting to have something that is like really, really covered in seasoning. But but see, now you say that, Sam. But if somebody was selling deep fried jerk chicken, I would be more interested in having that, because at least it's interesting. At least it's unique, and it's something that we haven't seen before. And as long as it doesn't cost $20, I think it'd be a better experience. I just hate how expensive those types of events have gotten. Because we can say like, oh, groceries are expensive, or no, not groceries. Like going out to eat is expensive. Um, but the idea is that there are so many restaurants that you can pick and choose what you want to eat. Some places do have cheaper options, and some places don't. So you just go, well, at least you still have the cheap options. But at these public events, there is no cheap options. It's you have to pay to get in, you have to pay to park, you have to pay double, triple to get food that is not that good, and you have to stand up and eat it surrounded by flies in the hot sun and wait in line to get it. And then some of these places, they offer tickets to buy food. So like, let's say, because they don't want people handling cash during the event, and so they'll say like, okay, if you want tickets, to buy food, you have to go buy tickets. We don't handle cash. So then the food costs $15 or 15 tickets, right? But then they only sell tickets by the 20. So then you have to buy 20 tickets, spend 15 of them, and nothing costs 5 tickets. So what are you supposed to do, right? Now you just have $5. You're like, can I get this back into money? No, we can't. so it's just such a scam, dude. It's such a scam from top to bottom. I hate it. I just don't understand the appeal. I don't like being taken for a ride at every turn, dude. Make stuff easy for people. Make it affordable. People will go. Why do we have to do this? Because people keep going anyway. They don't care. I love jerk chicken, but it's way too hot for me. The pain afterwards is worth it, though. I have not had jerk chicken in a while. It's been a very, very long time, I'll admit. Years and years. But I do remember enjoying it. I hate events that use tokens or tickets. I'd normally just straight up leave when I learn that. That's how I feel too. And that's why I just hate these events. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, they say it's because they don't want the food vendors handling cash, but then they do this stupid thing. That would be fine. Okay, I understand that. But give me the amount of tickets I want then. Why can't I say, hey, they're charging 12 tickets for this food. Can I buy 12 tickets? No, you need 15. It's like, why? You know what you're doing. You're doing the V-Bucks thing. Where, hey, you need 1,200 V-Bucks to buy this. Well, how much does that cost? Well, you have to buy either 1,000 V-Bucks or 2,000 V-Bucks, so either $10 or $20. Great. So that means I have to buy $20 worth when what I want is only $12. Then I have 800 V-Bucks left over, and nothing costs 800 V-Bucks. So then I'm gonna have to buy more, and just constantly having a little bit extra. And it's like, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. Please, I don't like being taken for a ride. I don't like being scammed. So I'm just not gonna go. If you build it, they will come. That is very true, actually. Most people would be paying contactless these days. Yeah, exactly. And that's what they do at the night markets, like in Taiwan. They'll take cash for sure. They want, but otherwise, put up a QR code. Oh, I scan Apple Pay. Boom, done. What? No one's messing with cash. Make the whole thing cashless. How is handling tickets better than cash? I agree, it's not. So here's what I think, Rad Robot. I think it's not that they're handling cash. I think the fact that the cash has value and that they're afraid of getting robbed. I think that's what it is. I think having cash on hand while you're busy running a shop at an event like that, where you don't know, people are walking around, I don't know. That's what they say. But that's why I don't buy it. I don't buy the whole situation. I think the whole thing's a scam. Yeah, I've seen vendors using their own phones as contactless payment devices. Yeah, you don't need to pay anything extra. Everything's there. Like, we're past that point I don't know. Every time I go to an event like that, it feels like those people have never been to an event. And it's just such a bad system. I'm glad I'm not the only person who deals with this, because that's why it frustrates me. And I'll see events like that. They're like we'll say like Jamaican Cultural Day. Come out and eat some Jamaican food and learn about Jamaican culture and watch some Jamaican performance. That all sounds great. Those are 3 things I would love to do, right? That sounds great. But the problem is that it's going to be horrific. That's the horrible problem. You're going to get there, and 90% of the food is not going to be Jamaican, and it's going to be way too expensive, and it's going to be very expensive to park, and you have to stand in the hot sun, and you have to stand to eat, and it just sucks because all of those things sound great. I would love to learn more about a culture, especially at an event, and I would like my fellow community to do the same. I want us all to be together to do it. I think that'd be great. But the events just suck. And it's just how it is. Security concerns, not sanitation concerns. Yeah, I think so. Because the vendors generally have people taking tickets. They have multiple people. So it's not like I'm going to touch money and then touch food. They generally have other people. So that's just my guess, though. Yeah. Because, yeah, holding tickets around isn't any better than money. And the weird part is, like, so how it works is at the end of the day, those vendors take all those tickets to the people running the event, and they exchange it for cash after the event takes their cut. Bastards. I joined a Discord from a new YouTuber last month, and it's mainly full of younger people, and it's an eye-opener to see how many are running older tech proudly. Yeah, for sure. That's cool. One thing you'll notice is that young people are poor. Yeah, that's it. No, most teenagers don't have jobs, right? And so they only have as much money as their parents give them. And generally, parents don't want to just spend all the money to give their kids the newest, hottest gaming console so they can rot in their bedrooms, right? They're going to give them something that's on par for many years. So a couple $100 is what they're going to get. So yeah, a lot of kids will run very cheap stuff. I went through it. I ran some cheap crap as a kid. I think they're generally just happy to have anything, especially if it's in like a third world country. I mean, especially then, dude, they will be running things that are like dual core CPUs trying to play Fortnite. Like, they're happy for anything. True, one love and one heart. Let's be together and be all right. From Bob Marley himself. Pretty much. That is it. I mean, I'll always give those kinds of events a shot, but they've just... I can't remember the last time I had a good time at one. I will say there is an event in Houston that is for the Chinese New Year's, and it's ran by a nonprofit that does stuff for the community. They're just a nonprofit company. They do stuff for the community, Chinese or not. Like, they're named after like the Chinese whatever civic center, community center, or something like that. But I'll look on their online. They do stuff that's not Chinese. They just like help out people in the community. They donate money. They do all kinds of stuff. They're just ran by Taiwanese people, and they do an event every year for the Chinese New Year. But here's the thing: it's free. The event is free. Parking is free, and they have a lot of parking, so you don't have to walk too far. Half of it is inside, an air-conditioned area. They have bathrooms that are inside. The other half is outside, but a lot of it's under shade, which is nice because it's but it's not too hot. It's like in February, so it's not too hot. But and the food is reasonably priced, and it is appropriate to what they're doing, right? So it's like Chinese food, and they do have some really nice performances that, and like little things that kids can do, like learn calligraphy and play little games, and they're all very affordable or free, and the performances are free to watch, and it's like 2 or 3 hours of performances done from like local martial arts groups or local dance crews or local whatever, and that's the kind of event I can get behind. And we went the last 2 years, and those were pretty nice. So I guess it is, and they do cash and contactless. They don't do any ticket nonsense. So throwing a good event is totally possible as long as the people who are in charge of it know what they're doing and they're not complete money grubbing assholes. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that for an event to be run well, where they treat you like human beings, it has to be from a nonprofit. Isn't that sad? Because every other event I've been to is like from a third-party company pretending it's cultural day, but in reality it's just, let me make some money from all of these people buying food. Yeah, making do with what they have. I don't know, kind of refreshing when all I see on Reddit is elitist jerks. Yeah, very true. I mean, you'll even see that in like my comment section. And my comment section is like, most of us kind of understand, right? And people will call, let me think. I've seen comments that people say like an RTX 2060 is e-waste. Imagine that, dude. Like, or if a PC is only playable in 1080p, e-waste. Like it is like insane. It's insane the comments I get where people discourage like poor people or third world country people or any of that stuff. Like they think if it's not 1440p, it's complete garbage, and they truly don't understand their privilege. Speaking of Discord, did you hear it got hacked and all of its internet ID info got leaked, and their only statement was basically, you're screwed, deal with it. Interesting. If my address, socials, and all got leaked and nothing can be done, it's a class action for me. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. But it's becoming increasingly more popular that you see a lot of big companies just get hacked, and it just happens all the time, especially even from like companies you wouldn't expect it from. It's like the tax bureaus, the credit bureaus, they got hacked. It's like, how is that acceptable? How did you get hacked? How? And usually it happens, it's like, well, we didn't pay that much for cybersecurity and now we're going to. It's like, so it's only a problem until it becomes a problem, right? It wasn't Discord themselves who were hacked, it was a third party who handles data for them. They got a lot of UK users' ID because of our new stupid online safety bill requires it now. Oh yeah, the digital ID. What is your favorite piece of tech that you've reviewed? That's a good idea. That's a good question. I am very partial to the Lenovo Legion Go. I think the Lenovo Legion Go was the first handheld out of all the PC handhelds that was the first to kind of break the mold and do something a little different. Even things like the MSI Claw and the ROG Ally X that came after it and all that stuff, they're all kind of rip-offs of the Steam Deck, right? They're basically a Steam Deck, but just a little bit different. The Legion Go actually was different. Legion Go had a screen that was much bigger, and it had a higher resolution, a higher refresh rate, and it had detachable controllers, and one of the controller could be turned into a mouse, like a vertical mouse. That's awesome. And it had a built-in kickstand, and it just like all these things that made it so much different than the others that it was really refreshing after like trying out the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally and stuff. And so yeah, that was the first one where I was like, okay, cool, this is a game changer. Like this is actually something different, even if like you think those are gimmicks, right? Like the mouse thing, and if you think they're gimmicks, that's fine, but at least it's something, right? Just giving me a Steam Deck and then a Steam Deck 0.1 and a Steam Deck 0.2 and a Steam Deck 0.3, I'm just like, dude, just over it. Like do something interesting. I'm still getting mileage out of a 3rd gen Intel and GTX 970. Very cool. Oh, I'm still running a 972. Wow, I'm surprised how many people are running 970s. That's for me, I don't drift into that category anymore when I mostly for building videos. If somebody had it on hand, I'd say yeah, use it. But in reality, I don't think I've ever made a video with a product from the 900 series or earlier. Yeah, I don't think so. That was kind of the cutoff point for me, where people already say the 1080 Ti is e-waste, believe it or not. But yeah, I wanted to avoid GPUs from that era, even though they're pretty good. I ran a 970 as well, actually. 970 was super popular, and I remember playing Far Cry 5 on it. It looked awesome. But I generally don't cross that era. I think the lowest graphics card I've talked about or used on the channel is a GTX 1060. But my channel is fairly new, right? You have people like Nerd on a Budget, who's been around for 10 years. He has videos from before the 970 when it was brand new. You know what I mean? Like, pretty crazy. I run a lot of older tech and it suits me fine. There's nothing wrong with older tech. As long as it works and fills a need for the person, then it's perfectly fine. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Totally cool with that. I agree. I have a 4080 Super and a 7800 X3D. I mainly game on my TV at 120 Hz in a room, but my main monitor is an RTX G9. Nice. Very cool. I'm glad you didn't end it with, is that good? That's something children will often come in here and say. I have a RTX 5090 and a 9850 X3D and 12 terabytes of NVMe SSD storage. Is that good? Oh, also I'm 13. Is that good? Is that good? Tell me I'm good. My Minecraft server is on an old 10-year or so old quad-core HP with 8 gigs of DDR3. Nice. That's what I love about old office PCs like that. That they are perfect, like home server, home lab, game server stuff. Like they run solid for how cheap they are. I knew you were gonna say some sort of handheld. Well, because I only review handhelds, man. I don't review anything else. I build computers, but I don't review them. Have you looked into the new ROG Xbox Ally releasing this month? I have, yeah. We talked about it earlier. I might get it to review it. I might not. It's pretty expensive. We'll see. It's not my main rig. It's the Minecraft rigs for nephews. Very cool. Then yeah, it's good. But still, I'm just surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised how long it's lasted. My dad was using the 970 up until like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when he updated to the 1080 Ti, and he's still using the 1080 Ti. Honestly, I feel like the 1000 NVIDIA and 500 AMD series should be the baseline when you're building a PC. Below 500 though, or using an office PC. The 500 AMD series. Oh, you mean, are we talking about GPU? Yeah, I would say that is basically how I've done my channel. I think the lowest GPU I've ever looked at on the AMD side was a 5500 XT, maybe? Like an RX 5500? Or an RX 580. I definitely have used an RX 580. That's probably the lowest. Yeah. Of course, for 500, yeah, for sure. But I don't like to throw out statements like that, because a lot of people will show up and say, I got this for free, or someone gave me their old GPU, or I bought this for a song, right? Like I got something very cheap. And so in that case, yeah, throw it in. But I also don't want to tell people, like, imagine if I made a video now telling people to use a 10-year-old graphics card. Like, I would get tarred and feathered, man. Like, already, I think I put a 1070 in a video a few months ago, and I got yelled at. Many people basically saying that's e-waste. Oh my god, you used a 9-year-old GPU, an 8-year-old GPU. might as well tell people to throw themselves into the river. Like, that's gonna break tomorrow. I'm just like, I don't think it will. But also, the computer costs $200. Like, what do you want from me? There's nothing else to do. What are you supposed to do? Like, the task, build a $200 computer. Impossible. Basically impossible. Like what else are you supposed to do? Or they're like, I would never use that I would never use that power supply. That power supply is a bad power supply. I'm like, well, too bad. I don't know. There's nothing else you can do. What can you do? It's cost the video is $200. It's not $200 plus $100 PSU. It's not like, I don't know what to tell you. And it's weird because people get like legitimately mad. Like I've seen people write paragraphs upon paragraph. Y'all don't see a lot of the comments. They get filtered out by YouTube's generic filtering system, where I think if people use a lot of curse words, it'll like nix the comment, but it lets me see them later. And or if people just seem like they're like aggressive or attacking, the filter will catch it too, and it just kind of sends it to purgatory. And I'll read it, and people get like mad. Like, if I tell someone, hey, you probably shouldn't build a $200 computer, but if you're poor or you don't have a job or it's all you want, then yeah, go for it. But it might be, you're having a lot of sacrifices, which is, I think, a fair assessment. I'll throw that into the video. Literally, people will write paragraphs upon paragraphs how I'm like a bad person for telling people to use cheap hardware, or that it's just e-waste and that people are wasting their money and they should never ever buy a computer that costs less than $500. Or hey, or people will say, like, I think one guy said, this is not a budget computer, and we're like, why? They're like, budget means $300 or less. I'm like, no guys, the budget means it's a certain price. Like, the budget is $500. That's how that word works. And they had like a long discourse in the comments about it. Weird. Two of my cats just walked in. They ran away. Yeah, y'all don't see a lot of the comments. People are very upset. A 1060 and 580 minimum starters. That's, my whole channel has been like that. I don't think I've used anything before that. Yeah, I'm using a 50-foot HDMI. Don't do that. I'm using a 50-foot HDMI cable and a Corsair lap board and wired mouse. I use a USB over Cat 5 with a 50-foot. There must be a better way to do this, dude. A 50-foot HDMI cable is not a good idea, dude. You have all that hardware, a 4080 Super, and you're running it through a 50-foot HDMI cable. Surely there's a better way to do what you're doing. I'm sorry. You use USB over Cat 5 with a 50-foot cable for mouse. Why not just use a wireless mouse and keyboard? How far to game in the living room? I get it. So what are you saying? Are you saying the computer is in your room and you run a 50-foot cable from your room to the living room so you can play on the TV? There must be a better way to do this. Do you get any like artifacting or any cuts from the video? Does it ever crackle or... That's so funny, dude. Do you get any issues with it? I mean, you said you're running it at what, 4K 120? You never have any, like... Yes. That's crazy. It's so funny. And so you have USB to Cat 5 and you have the Cat 5 cable running into your living room so you can use a wire. Do you have cables all over the floor? You're single. There's no way your partner would let you run cables like that all over your house. Or do you have it like drooping from the ceiling, like a USB cable that you plug in the mouse and keyboard? Okay, pretty cool. Well, I'm glad it works behind the sofa. Okay, well, that's a little bit better than normal. Yeah, if it's up against the wall. Works fine. Well, if it works fine, I'm surprised it works fine. Most HDMI cables, I guess if it's the newest standard, it's okay. But a lot of the older ones, they just don't work well at long distances. I did through the steps. Interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool. Latency is 3 business days. Sounds like my first DVD setup I ran from my PC to my TV. I used to do it back when I lived in China. My living room, but my living room and my PC were in the same room, and so I ran a cable, but it was only like 20 feet. It was from one side of the living room to the other, and that was mostly so I could watch videos on the TV or play games on it. That's pretty cool. Nice that you can do both. Have it at your desk. Yeah, that was convenient. A $200 PC is more interesting than a $2,000 build. Agree. I also agree. You know why? Because you know how a $2,000 computer is going to perform. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be insane. And the difference between it's like, this one's 4K at 120 FPS. I really thought it was going to be 4K at 110 FPS. That's not interesting. But then, for a $200 PC or a $100 PC, you're like, I really have no idea. How low can we go? And I think that's very interesting. But a lot of people literally will like get mad. They get mad if you even think about it. Even I will straight up say, don't build this computer. And people are like, you shouldn't put this in people's heads. Like, God, heaven forbid I make a video about what I want. At that point, why not build a secondary PC? That's a lot of money, right? That's what I would say. You're right. Yes, it would be better for gamer named Drag to have a second PC that at his living room, but that's a $50 cable is like what, $20, and a second cable, another $20. Compare that to his computer is like $1,500 or more. I would rather spend $40 than spend $1,500 extra dollars. You know what I mean? So I get where he's coming from. $250 or less, you have to get creative. Yeah, exactly. And they're just limitations. Like truly, people. And this is one thing I got really mad about. And I don't know if y'all have been watching long enough. There's a video I did where Ozzy from Oz Talks Hardware does a little cameo in the video where in one video I recommended using the $500 or 500 watt Thermaltake Smart PSU, that white one you always see on Amazon, and I got flamed, literally flamed. And I wrote down their names. And in his most recent video time, he also used it for a computer that was more expensive than mine. And out of like 1,000 comments, I think I saw one person comment on it. And I saw people who were in my comment section complaining that I used it. They were in his comment section, not saying anything about it. And I had him on, and I flamed his ass for it because it's not his fault. But I was like, this is so insane. Like, these people are such hypocrites. And his answer was basically what I would say. It's like, you only have $200. What's the alternative? What are you supposed to do? And people are like, yeah, go find an S tier rated used power supply for $20. I'm like, good luck, man. People don't sell their old power supplies. Like, it just doesn't happen. Very, very rarely. I'm not going to tell people to do that, man. That's true. That's why I subscribe to his first low budget builds. They're insane. That's why I'm trying to build my own. A lot of stuff keeps happening in my personal life that stops me from saving. Yeah, for sure. Everyone's, we're all at different points. So if I can't build a PC for around $507 and a budget one to play the games I always play, which is emulator games and some Steam games like WuWa, ATS, Far Cry, and so then why not make one? Yeah, that's how I feel too. Like, I've met some people in person actually. They want a $1,000 computer, and why not, right? I know for a fact it's going to be a long time before they get $1,000, right? Things happen in life. Not everyone can make money that easily or that quickly. And so you have one of two options. You can wait the 1, 2, 3 years it takes to save up, depending on the person, and just have nothing. Or you could spend $200, which you do have now, and it's, you know, and play something, right? Something in the meantime. Because the alternative is just sitting at home and not having a computer. I would rather somebody have a computer that is cheap and affordable, and it's not the $1,000 computer they wanted, but it's something. It's a starting point. Like, and they'll say, oh, it's not upgradable. I'm like, I don't think they should upgrade it. It's 10 years old hardware. I don't think they should upgrade it. Literally, if it dies at the end, it's fine. It held you over. You got to play some games at 1080p. You had a good time. That's okay. Let it die. At least it went out a peaceful death doing what it was supposed to do and not just rotting on a shelf, you know? But if you tell people that, they get very mad. They're like, you shouldn't even be using hardware this old. Like, it's not that old. What is wrong with y'all? Like, these people are psychos. I miss Ozzy's videos. Is he still out of the country? I'm actually not sure. Yeah, he hasn't really posted in a while. I'm not like super good friends with him or anything. We met at LTX in 2023 and we exchanged some messages here and there. I haven't talked to him since last year. Actually, last September, I'm like, hey, do you want to do a live stream with me? Because I did one with Danny at the time, and we had a good time. And he's like, yeah, sure, but I'm very, 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 very busy. I'm like, okay, we'll name a date. And he's like, yeah, here's the date, locking it in. This is the date. And I'll put it in my calendar, and I'll make sure that this is the date. And then I kind of followed up with him like a month later, and he didn't respond. And then he stopped responding. So I have not talked to him since then. So, and we didn't do the stream, obviously. So hopefully he's okay. A 2K build, the only part that is a choice is which case they will choose. Pretty much. Like, you know what they're going to put. Am I going to use the 9850 X3D or the 9800 X3D? It's like, dude, we know. We know. Getting creative is how I ended up with the GTX 970. I have 3 of them, $40 each. That's a pretty good deal. It's funny, I'm running a 9070 in my system, yet an ARC A750 in my Plex server. Oh, you got that AV1 encoding. No matter how old your computer, there's still more game you can play than games you can. Exactly. And that's why people, whenever I'll have like a $200 gaming computer video, and it'll show like, oh, it played Space Marine 2 at like 20 FPS. And people will use that as an excuse to say, see, it's garbage. I'm like, dude, it can play everything from 1990 to 2020. That's awesome. There are so many PC games that are amazing. From like the 2010s, you have like Dead Space, Mass Effect. There was like so many great AAA games that still are so much fun. Never mind a bunch of like esports games. It's just like there's just like all the indie games you can play. Like this idea that because your computer can't play literally the newest, hottest AAA games, who cares, man? Like not everyone jumps from AAA game to AAA game. I have 2 PCs, one editing rig, capture, one gaming, but the whole living room extension cables is because I like laying on the sofa with the wife and gaming on a sofa in the living room, now a PC chair. Yeah, but Gamer Nate Drac. Oh, and not a PC chair. Yeah, totally. They're saying you need another PC. He's saying put one in the living room. So then you'd have 3. You understand? That's what they're saying. So true, man. That's why I asked for a workstation. That's at least a 6th gen, so I can add a 10 series NVIDIA GPU in it, like a 1660 Ti Super or 1070 Ti for the games I play. That would be enough. Yeah, perfect. That's a good deal. When Danny made his YouTuber compilation a couple months ago, Oz was in it and mentioned that he was overseas. Oh, was he? Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea, actually. Yeah. Hopefully he's okay. Last time, yeah, he had went to Japan last year during like September, and he was messaging me asking me about stuff. He said he had a really great time. He has a bunch of hot friends. He was selling some of his merch, and he had like photos of people wearing the merch, and they were like professionally done photos. And it was like, wow, did you hire models for your merch? That's awesome. This looks really cool. And he goes, no, these are all my friends. I'm like, oh my god, you have some hot friends. What the hell? Like they were all hot people. I could not believe it. I thought they were actual models, and it was like so well shot and done. I was like, wow, these are like really well done. Loss of scaling is bringing new life to old PCs. Yeah, for sure. I'm running out of room in the house because I have a room dedicated to the wife's home gym. So another PC in the living room will take up too much space unless it's a micro ATX build. I don't think you should build another PC. I'm saying that's what they think you should do. But yeah, I know what you mean. Not every room needs a PC like Hayden. Yeah, see, only 3 PC. I'm back up to 8 right now. I'll sell one to the girlfriend soon. Pre-TPM 2.0 platforms are about to get cheap. I have heard a lot of people selling or tossing out their old Office PCs for their businesses that can't handle Windows 11. So yeah, I think we're gonna have a bunch on eBay pretty soon, and that should bring the price down. Oh wow, that YouTuber collab video was 6 months ago. Yeah, it feels like yesterday, wasn't it? I remember Danny was telling me how frustrating that video was to make. It's hard enough to collab with one person, but to collab with many, many people, and like, people are just so fickle, man. Like I don't care how busy people are. If you say you're gonna do something, just do it. Like, how hard is that? And he was having to coordinate all of it. And midway through, he's like, why do I do this? Like, why do I do this, man? Like, it's so hard to coordinate people. People are so fickle. So true. Playing that amount of games from the 90s to 2020 or even 2022 with a few esports titles is better than nothing. Yeah, absolutely. I would rather have that than nothing. Why not? A lot of the games I play are pretty old, so like, why not? There are so many great games out there. People don't only have to play the brand new stuff that just comes out. I don't usually buy games the second they come out, almost ever. I'd say the only one I bought, the last game I bought brand new, well, I'm gonna buy Battlefield 6, so I will say that that's a AAA game that I'm going to pay full price for, but it's because I put hundreds of hours into it and I like it a lot. But before that, I would say that the last one I bought full price when it first came out, maybe Baldur's Gate 3. But that's because I knew how crazy the game was going to be, and I knew I was going to put a lot of hours into it. And I love Baldur's Gate, and I love D&D. So, I don't think there's been anything else. Yeah, I usually wait for sales. And I'm sleepy. I usually wait for sales. Because I have such a big backlog that buying it when it first comes out, there's no point. I'm not going to play it. Pre-TPM Rufus for the win. Yeah, actually, I will be getting that too. For that app is the best Steam app by far. Well, second to the Steam wallpaper app. A wallpaper engine. Is Wallpaper Engine that popular? I didn't think people actually... I only knew about it because I think it was in a Humble Bundle years and years ago. What about Silksong? I thought that game is your type of game that you would mention. That's true. I did not buy Silksong. I actually have not beat Hollow Knight. I've tried many times to beat Hollow Knight, and I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a very good game. I'm sure Silksong is just as good, if not better. But I just get so lost in the game, and I hate having to like look at the map and go, okay, which way did I go? and there's like no real dialogue and no real much of anything. You're just kind of walking around, attacking stuff, kill a boss here or there. I'm having a hard time getting through it. Maybe just something's not clicking with me. I just hate backtracking in Metroidvanias. But I really do want to finish it and then move on to Silksong, because I've heard they're both very good. But you're right. Yeah, I didn't buy Silksong. But also, Silksong is like $20, right? It's like, that's not really a AAA experience. And I mean, I bet I bought Mega Bonk when it first came out. That's not really a AAA game. I'm mostly talking about AAA games. Yeah, I can't think of anything other than that. No sense of direction. Yeah. It's gotten to the point where I'm like when people say a game is linear, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing anymore. Sometimes you want to just go on a path and kill things, right? You want God of War, and that's okay. And then sometimes you want Spider-Man or Grand Theft Auto. I think those are, just because one isn't sandbox or one isn't linear doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just different. Aren't there times where you want to sit down and you don't want to fly around a map and explore every area? You kind of just want to go down a tunnel and kill things, right? Like, I think that's okay. I think they're both have their spots. That's why I like Bioshocks. The Bioshock games were pretty good. They were both technically open, but also pretty linear in a lot of ways. But sometimes you would backtrack to get through certain areas. But it gave you a lot of creativity on how to get past certain stuff. So I like that. I like something in between a sandbox game and a linear game. Something where you can kind of do both. And so I think God of War, the new one, and the God of War Ragnarok, they are a good way of, like, technically they are open world games because you can go anywhere in the world map by using your boat or whatever. But once you get to a place, it's pretty linear, right? Like, it is pretty much go from point A to point B. So it's kind of a combination of the two. I don't know. Time is it? 8:46. Let's do 15 more minutes, okay? And then I'm gonna probably call it a night. I got some works to do. But before I go, because we have 15 minutes, I can give y'all a little sneak peek of an upcoming video, maybe. Speaking of Battlefield, do you think they will make COD end of season this year? Is EOS end of season this year, or maybe make some major changes without the entire community rioting? I don't know too much about COD. I know that the newest beta didn't get as many people as Battlefield did, and that people are mad about skill-based matchmaking or something. So I'm not too sure what they're gonna do, to be honest. I don't know. I don't keep up with Call of Duty. I've moved on from it. I used to really like it. I played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 2 back in the day a lot. Like, there was a solid year straight where that's basically all I played, and it felt great. But I have not really played since then. I played some of the storylines since then, but I haven't really played multiplayer competitively at all. Here, how can I do this? Oops. I'm trying to give you all a little taste of the action. There. Oh, I guess I can turn on desktop audio. Here, is this it? Oh, hey. Oh, it's cropped. Why is it cropped? What the heck? Hold on. Well, I guess we only need this. Turn off the background music, turn up. All right, here's the first, I guess, 20 seconds of this video. This is a video that's coming up probably in a week or two. Most American living rooms don't really have a good place to put a full-fat gaming PC, which is a shame because I really want a place to lean back and play single-player games on a big TV. And if you're saying, why don't you just get a console? My reply to you is, mind your own damn business. I have an entire library of games on Steam I want to play, so a PC is perfect, but it has to be small and it has to be affordable. While it would be pretty easy to build an awesome ITX gaming PC for, $2,000, I'd really rather spend about what you would on a new console, so maybe between $500 and $700 US. And most importantly, I want a console-like experience. I want to be able to sit down, pick up a controller, and start gaming. And I have a few other requirements that I want to solve, but I'll go over that later in the video. But picking... Okay. Sneaky peeky. Sneaky peeky. Oh, let me turn this down. Okay, let me give you a quick rundown. They did reduce skill-based matchmaking, which made the match queues faster, like 5 to 10 seconds faster, but the community is complaining about the change, so they lied for years, which is causing a lot in the community, apparently. And the beta was, again, not sure if this number is true, but 75k combined with Warzone, but the BO7 was 17k of that number. Oh. So, I will say this about skill-based matchmaking. I don't understand why people don't like it. I want to be paired with people of similar skill to me. That makes a lot of sense. When XDefiant came out, their whole thing was that they didn't have skill-based matchmaking, and I saw people on Twitter literally posting it, "This is the best game ever. Finally, I can just relax and play a game. This is the most relaxing I've ever had in a shooter." I'm like, so basically you're saying you get to dunk on noobs, which is essentially just smurfing, and you feel like you can relax because the game is so easy because you're playing noobs, right? Like, why wouldn't you want skill-based matchmaking? I just don't get it. Like, you're saying the match will queue faster without it. Okay, 5 to 10 seconds. I don't care. Well, what is that? Nothing. Like, as long as it's not 5 minutes, I don't care. That's not that big a deal. I'll never get it. Lol, you blurred your feet. Glad you noticed. I like the video, Big W. Yeah, it's a living room PC type thing. Honestly, Jason, I don't like it. Why? Because me getting shit on made me a better player overall, so I like the competition and the thrill in facing top players of online games. So you don't want skill-based matchmaking because you want to play with people who are better than you by a lot, like an insane a lot. I don't understand the whining about SBM. I think it's just Call of Duty people. I don't. He blurred the toes. I have to. A very, very small amount of blurring. I'm surprised anyone even saw it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to play. You are inevitably going to get there because people smurf all the time. I want to play with people my level, and it's going to be a really close match. The best games are the ones that are like neck and neck, back and forth. It's like, oh man, dude, who's going to win? One more shot, one more shot. That means the game was perfectly in sync, perfectly matched. That's what you want. Like, that's really, really fun. And then the people I saw on Twitter were saying, oh, I just it's so stressful to play. I always have to be on edge. I'm like, that's the whole point. It's a competitive game. What are you talking about? Like, and now you're saying the opposite. It's like you only want to play people better than you. If you ever played XDefiant and you're playing people who are better than you and they completely stomp you, you don't even get a chance to shoot. Like, I don't know. I prefer it. I prefer skill-based matchmaking. And I think Smurfs are losers. Plus, most FPS games I play, I often like to rank up and get to the highest rank, so that's why I don't like SBMM, for no matter how bad or good someone is, you can learn a lot from them, like in Delta Force. Huh? Yeah. You can rank up and get to the highest rank. What's wrong with that? Well, I think the problem is, the idea is that while you might say you don't want skill-based matchmaking, many people say that they don't want it, but in reality, most people are going to get stomped by a small amount of really good players. And when people are constantly getting stomped, they stop playing. And that's just the fact of the matter, is like the fact that people are going to get destroyed completely, so undeniably destroyed, going 1 in 10, 1 in 15, and they're not going to want to play the game anymore. And that's what happened to XDefiant. And so that was like proof that literally people will just get destroyed because they don't even stand a chance. And when they're not playing, they're not buying skins. You know what I mean? So from like a COD standpoint, I understand why they want to keep skill-based matchmaking, because they want to keep people playing and they want to keep them happy. Stomp on me, pause, I will train and get better always. Well, you've got a good mentality for that, Sam, but I'm telling you now, most people will stop playing. They might do that a few times, but ultimately, if 5 games go by and they're only getting 1 or 2 kills, that's not fun for them. Like, imagine you are a 10-year-old kid and you're trying to get better at basketball, and you go play in the actual NBA basketball league, right? And and they're not holding back. They are playing an actual game of professional basketball, and you are this little 10-year-old running around the court. That does not make you feel good. You're never going to get your hands on that ball. You're never going to be able to play. You're just kind of running around with other big dogs. And that's what it feels like. And you might think, I'm getting better. There's nothing, you're not learning how to get better by just getting instantly headshotted by someone who's running around the map at full speed. Run, and boom, he one shot tapped me, he's running past me. What did you learn from that exchange? You know what I mean? Like, I understand where you're coming from, but I think, yeah. What's up, Alucard? If you're a 10-year-old in the NBA, it's a height and skill issue there. Yes. Now, imagine that as being a new player in Call of Duty. You are a new player or even a bad player, and you get put up with people who are taller than you and infinitely better than you, and you don't even get a chance. It's not like I'm learning. You don't get a chance. You shoot your gun, they've already seen you and they've already shot at you. You don't get a chance to shoot them. Like, you just get so unbelievably dominated, you don't even get a chance. And you don't even get a chance to learn. You know what I mean? That's the biggest issue. Like, being completely dominated in a game is not a good feeling. And it's not like man, those guys spanked us real good. I saw what they did there. It's like, no, they shot you faster than you shot them. That's just how Call of Duty works. They killed you faster and better. They pointed their mouse faster than you are, and they pressed the button before you did because they are better than you. And so I'm not sure what I could learn from someone just completely wrecking my ass over and over. I tend to avoid those kinds of games that will bring out the toxic side of me. I get that too. I've heard people who they used to really love competitive games, and now they're just like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth like the stress. People get really stressed out and like they get too competitive, and Yeah. I can see that too. I don't love competitive games like that. I'll admit most of the time I don't play them. But I do play the finals, and I do really like the competitiveness of that. But I think it's because I stand a chance. And there's so many options in that game that gives you a chance to live. In COD, it's either you looked at them first and you shot first and you didn't miss. And if you didn't, you're dead. But in the finals, there are so many options for like saving yourself or killing other people, so many different options to do it that it's not just a who's faster, right? So it's not as frustrating. Probably same at Battlefield. Battlefield is a little bit better. There's a lot more stuff you can do where generally if you get killed, it's like, that was my fault. I could have avoided it. It's not just, well, he looked at me first and he shot first, right? Like, it's like, those are the types of games I cannot stand. And yeah, it will. I think it brings out the toxic in everyone. That and League of Legends. For some reason, League of Legends makes people very toxic. Okay, settle down, Vegeta. Okay, guys, it's 9 o'clock. I am going to head out. Thank you for everyone who came. I always appreciate you guys coming. I know these are more sparse and sparse these days, but again, I'll promise to do more. I promise. Not next week. Maybe the week after. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. If something big happens next week, maybe next week I'll play a game on stream. And if people don't want to watch it, that's okay. We'll see. But yeah, thank you for everyone who came out. Alucard, JT Bivens, Sam, Reluctant Hero, Nathan, Sleepy Mushroom, Hayden Trent, Gamer Neat Drac, Rad Robot. Who else did I miss? Scroll. That's everyone on my list. Yeah, thank you to anyone who joined. Anyone who didn't type, I appreciate you. Hazards me. Good night stream. Have a great time. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Nathan, you guys are awesome. Tech Blacksmith, have a great night. Glad you get to see your grandson this month. That's awesome. Tech Grant, thanks for coming. I will see you guys next time. And as always, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. I'll drop the link right now. Feel free to join. Come hang out. Have a good night, guys.